What's the biggest opportunity you've ever won?
Yes. The biggest opportunity I've won was I got the opportunity in 2020 post-COVID era, and that was when I received an email from my would-be supervisor. He forwarded an email from Cambridge Trust, and it reads, "Congratulations, Ademola, your perseverance has paid off at last." So being in a diagnostic clinic in Lagos, then I was attending to a patient treating for tuberculosis. That was during the COVID-19 pandemic in Lagos, Nigeria, when I got that prompt. So I went back to the actual inbox, the actual email, and it was an email from Cambridge Trust awarding me His Royal Highness Prince of Wales Commonwealth Cambridge Trust Scholarship. So that was the biggest opportunity, biggest win, biggest scholarship I've had. Yeah.
Wow, that's really amazing. So I just wanted to go into more detail about this Cambridge Trust. So for someone watching this video now or listening to this podcast that want to apply for this scholarship, what does it entail? And how many months do you have to prepare? What do you need to have? Is it that you must have a first class, or you have to engage in leadership? What are the things that you have to do to win this?
Yes, that's an important question, and it's one where we can look at. I can flash back to the details of the journey itself, where it started from. So I would say, first of all, you should have an interest in terms of the program you want to apply for, the structure of the program, the department you want to apply to. Very important. So I had an interest in pathology. Particularly, I was more interested in the study of viruses, how the immune system responds to viral infections. So their interest is there. And secondly, the approach is also important. Yeah, there are some programs where you need to apply directly to the departments, and there are also some programs where you need to contact supervisors before you can apply. And for such programs, without securing a potential supervisor who would agree to take you in their lab, without securing that, there's no point applying. So mine then was a program, it was an MPhil research-based program. So I needed to contact supervisors. So I contacted supervisors, sent lots of emails with cover letter and a very good CV. Straight to the point.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting. Just to break this down further, so you mentioned about contacting a supervisor. Is it that the first time you just reach out to one of the supervisors, that's when they reverted back to you? You had to send multiple emails? Because we have people today now that are trying to reach out to professors across the world, in Canada, in US, but it's just bouncing back. So how did you structure your email to get this supervisor? And again, my first question is, did you have just reach out to one supervisor, or you reached out to many? And how did you structure your email?
Yes, that's a very, very important question. And before I answer that, I would just share this, because I know this is important for PhD applicants as well, people who are applying for PhD programs. I was with my current supervisor 2 or 3 days ago. We were in his office, and he spoke to me about having a pre-interview with a Nigerian student applying. And he said the student had contacted him via email. And I just thought to ask, what makes you, or what do you look out for when you reply to these emails? How many of such emails you get? And in his exact words, Ademola, I received tons of emails from potential candidates. I glance through, and once I see what is interesting, based on their background and based on what they have said we are doing in our lab, then I would read the email in detail and reply to them. So that was very important. Now back to the question. I contacted multiple supervisors, quite a lot of them, sent email, and I tried to make sure my email was straight to the point. I didn't write too long about my background, about what I had and what I wanted to do. I just introduced myself and mentioned my interests in their work and why I want to apply for an MPhil in their lab. Now, I sent, I sent multiple emails. I didn't get responses. But I did something based on the advice I got from a mentor who was a PhD student in the US then. He said some of these professors in quotes struggle to reply emails because they receive tons of emails. He said sometimes you do call them. So I summoned the courage. I was in Lagos, Nigeria then. I summoned the courage, had to recharge my phone, and I called this supervisor of mine. He picked up the call and I said, I've sent you an email. I'm waiting for your response. And it was like, we sent the email. I was upset. I said, I've sent you email. And he said, I received lots of emails. Receive it. Yeah, resend it. So I had to resend the email, and that was it.
Wow, that's very strategic. So you have to, take that courage and reach out. At times you send multiple emails, but these PIs, they are human beings. They receive tons of emails daily. So you can, look for other ways, such as even calling them. Many of them have their phone numbers on their website. So email is not the only channel. You can also put a call through. But the second question is, what did you put in your email? Is it just, today people just attach their CVs, their transcripts, their cover letter, or things like that. So what did you put in your email? And let's first go into that before we go into the next one.
So there was an email body. So there was a title, and that title wasn't just like applying for a program. So the title was about. So the title was straight to the point. Application for an MSc in HPV immunology, whatever it is. That is based on what they are doing. So that title, so that when they receive an inbox, they will see the title and they know what it's about. So there was a body of the email which was first paragraph or first 3 or 4 sentences was about my background, my name, my background, my previous degree, what I'm doing currently. Then there was another paragraph stating my purpose of contacting them, particularly what they are doing, why I'm interested in what they are doing, and what I want to do in their lab for an MPhil, for an MSc, for an MRES. Then there was a concluding paragraph to say that I have attached some documents for you to go through. So I attached my CV, I attached my transcript, showing the course modules I had in my undergraduate degree and the grades I had in all these courses. And sometimes, if I have a publication that is related to their work, I would attach the article, or maybe just a 1-page summarizing the abstract or something like that, depending on the kind of supervisor I'm contacting, what they are doing. And I could add a last sentence saying, happy to have an informal call to discuss an application or my eligibility for the program in your laboratory. So I try to keep this structure simple and concise.
That's very, very interesting, right? So for anyone that if you're currently working on reaching out to professors, and this is something that is normal here in Canada, you have to reach out to professors. So you have to also think of how to make your application stand out, right? You have to ensure that you are not generic. You go straight to the point, and before you do that, you have to do research into what the lab is all about, right? So you want to make yourself stand out so that once they just glance through your application, they know what you're looking for, and then they will see if what you're looking for is also what they are looking for. So the PIs you're looking for are also looking for you. But most time it's just that what we are bringing is not what they want, right? And that's why the opportunities are not, coming through. So please take note of this. So the other question I want to ask is this, still related to the Cambridge Trust, right? So is this Cambridge Trust only available to people in medical field, only applicable to people in science or in STEM? Or is this something that anyone can apply for? And when does it come out yearly? Is it currently out? Or is it that, you have to wait, maybe for a certain time, then you can put in your application?
Yes, thank you very much. Understanding the timeline is very important for planning. because the application process itself, it's not just something that you just apply when you hear it out. There has to be careful planning, and in most instances the application opens around fall, that is from September to first week of December or first week of January. And like I said, it's Cambridge Trust, which I applied for maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It's quite a long time now. But interestingly, there are multiple scholarships here in Cambridge, and the application process itself allows you to filter out all the funding opportunities and look at the ones you're eligible for. So I could mention some now for Africans, international students. Cambridge Trust is one of them. For Africans, you have MasterCard Foundation Scholarship. So the MasterCard is quite an interesting one, which I think they started 3 or 4 years ago. And when I was applying, there was no MasterCard Foundation Scholarship for Cambridge then. So they started, and annually they take about 70 to 80 Africans annually.
Wow.
So it's an hotspot for an African student. If you're an excellent African student, look out for the MasterCard Foundation Scholarship, University of Cambridge. And it's also tenable at other institutions like Oxford, Edinburgh. So aside from Cambridge Trust, MasterCard, there are other scholarship opportunities. There is the Gates Cambridge Scholarship. Very, very competitive. Very, very competitive. There is the Harding Distinguished Scholarship. There is the Rowan Williams Trust Scholarship. There are fundings across colleges in Cambridge. So I'm just mentioning now that there are quite a lot of them. So when I was applying them, then I looked through all the funding opportunities available, and I sort of analyzed the ones I was most suitable for. Cambridge Trust was one of them. I applied for Cambridge Trust. I applied for Gates Cambridge Scholarship. I applied for Rowan Williams Scholarship. I applied for college fundings as well. So yeah.
So
and you can apply. Cambridge. Yeah, you can apply for more than one. You can apply for 4 or 5, as many as you see. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So that means to just get into one school, you can actually apply for multiple scholarships. Because most times some people just do one and then they just open that. Now that's not bad, right? But for you to be able to win, there is this law of multiples, right? The more you apply, the better your chances. Right, so that's very interesting, and it's good that we now have different scholarships people can use to come into these schools. That's a very great one, right? So it's not just one. So if you fail one, you can look for when the other one is coming out and then go for it, right? So that gives us a lot of opportunities to win. The other question I want to still ask related to this is what can set apart a candidate when they're applying for this scholarship? I don't know, is it that they still take IELTS, GRE, or all these things? So what's set apart a candidate? Is it just CGPA, right? So I think this is something that is also very important for people to hear about, because applying for an Ivy League school like Cambridge, even you just hearing the name, you might feel like, can I make this happen, right? So what will set them apart? Maybe they already have everything they need, they just need to submit.
Yes, just like you said, just thinking of the name, the prestige of the school, sometimes even the best candidates can write themselves off, thinking they are not the kind of student they are looking for. I would say the first thing is the mindset. So in as much as they take students annually and they fund international students, Africans annually, if you're an international student, if you're an African student, have that mindset that you could be one. Then secondly, I would say it depends on the department, because the way the funding works is that you must have secured an admission in a department for a program before you can even be considered for any of these funding opportunities. So that means when these scholarship bodies want to make decisions for concerning candidates, they want to invite candidates for interview, they will look at the pool of admitted students. So it is from that pool that they will now read through the applications itself. So the first step depends on the department to make a decision on the admitted candidates, where they would even rank the candidates that they have admitted, the top, second, third, fourth. So it is from this. So what are the requirements for that department? Some departments will tell you that a first class is the requirement to even be admitted. While some would say they accept a first class and a 2-1. So the first assignment is to look through the department. Then, secondly, you don't just want to apply with the minimum requirements. You want to look at what else would make you stand out. And that's a question you ask yourself, or I asked myself then, that if I were to be in the position to pick candidates, what would I be looking for? What makes my profile distinguished from others? So I would say for myself, I had work experience in a clinical laboratory for HIV and tuberculosis. That was very important. I was able to state in my application and see I've learned something in the classroom. I studied microbiology in my undergraduate degree. I had a first class degree, so I have a good knowledge of that. I've taken knowledge from the classroom to the laboratory, to the hospital. I've met patients. I've seen what these infectious diseases are like day to day, beyond the theory I've learned in the classroom. So I haven't seen what is there. I have a question I want to answer about how these people respond to these infectious diseases, tuberculosis, even COVID-19, then even HIV. Because I have this underlying question, I want to apply for your program here in Cambridge. So there is a trajectory. It wasn't that I just felt like applying and I just put up an application. I stayed there to research. So it's very important. And for some people, the research experience is important. You would see students who finish the first degree, they've gone to a molecular laboratory to carry out an internship. They've gone to places like, mention some institutes like IITA, National Institute of Medical Research, different institutes. They've done 6-9 months, 1 year internship there. They've developed some soft skills. Some have published articles. Some have attended conferences. So some have taken online coursework. So it's now beyond the 4.98 or 4.87. It's also about this other thing. So for myself then, I had a first class degree, I had work experience, I had publications, I have presented in conferences, and I also had an interesting work we did together then, the campaign against drug abuse. So community service too was very important. So I was able to list this holistically in my application. So all of these details are quite important to make you very, very competitive. Very, very competitive.
Yeah, so that's very, very important right there. So this is beyond just academic performance. You have to garnish your academic performance with experiences, and the experience can come in the place of work experience, volunteering, leadership, right? Anything that is very important to make the selection committee to see that you are not just a nerd, but you're actually someone that is passionate about taking your knowledge from the lab into the community to make the world a better place. And this is applicable to every scholarships you want to apply for out there, right? Even here in Canada, any scholarship you want to apply for, they want to see that you are beyond just reading, right? They want to see that you have every other thing that will make you do well in that program. So that's very, very interesting. So I just want to ask, what's the role of mentorship in winning Cambridge Trust? Because I won't lie to you, hearing that name Cambridge alone, I make a lot of students feel like, should I even apply? Maybe I should just look for something of my level, right? So is there a role of mentorship? And for those that are probably looking for mentors at this time to get into all these Ivy League schools, how can they acquire them?
Yes, that is an important question. I think there is an African saying, if I remember correctly, it says, if I'm able to see further, it's because I'm sitting on the shoulders of giants. So definitely, information is power, and the right information is powerful. So mentors have significant role to play. Personally, before I applied, I had contacted a mentor via LinkedIn, and I just searched through, Cambridge Scholar, Nigerian Cambridge Scholar, African Cambridge Scholars, because I also wanted a mentor that got a scholarship, same route. So I contacted one, and approaching the mentor is also very important. That could be a topic for another day entirely, because I think now people understand the role of mentors, but getting their attention to help you get what you want out of them is also very important. I'm sure you also have like quite a number of mentees that reach out to you, and I'm sure you don't reply everyone like that, because some mentees, they don't do their homework. They just send you a message, hi, good morning, and that's it. Whereas some would, come in, introduce themselves and say what they want, and you could take it off from there. So very important. The word of mentor is very important. So I contacted the mentor then, and they read through my application. They did a pre-interview with me before the actual interview. They showed me how it works in terms of the kind of questions I would expect actual interview and the best way to answer these questions. And presently we have in collaboration with Mastercard Foundation, most of us here in Cambridge, like PhD students, we volunteer with the Mastercard Foundation program to organize a mock interview for African students who have been invited or shortlisted for an interview.
That's great.
So Mastercard also want these students to get into scholarship, and I think it's distinguished them from other scholarships here in Cambridge, because Cambridge Trust don't. I'm not sure there is like one like that, but Mastercard try to reach out to students in farther countries, not just Nigeria now, because they know Nigerians, we have this information, Ghanaians have this information, they apply, but they try to reach out to students in far countries. You mentioned countries like Namibia, Burundi, trying to reach them, because it's about Africans here, and without this information, you won't know that these opportunities are available, or that you can access these opportunities. So I'm just emphasizing that mentorship it's very, very important, and it is what even presently, I'm sure you have mentees, and you also have mentors. So it's very important. Information, guidance, sharing of knowledge.
Wow, that's profound. I'm very, for you that you're joining the Next Level Discourse today, you should be excited hearing all this information. There's this saying in Nigeria that info la info. What means that? That means that it's the information that you have that will make you fly, that will make you win, right? So you need all this information. So on mentorship, actually, if you're also applying for maybe a Canadian scholarship, if you don't have a mentor, you can't win. It's 100%. You can't win it. Everyone I've seen, like win Vanier, win CIHR, NSAC, there is someone mentoring them. Even our professors, if they're applying for grants, they have a mentor, maybe in the department, maybe in the faculty. Someone has to, guide them, right? So if you're planning to win opportunities this year, don't walk alone. Don't walk alone. Work with others. Work with mentors. Work with friends. Work with, people. Just look for people that are going in the same direction, or they've arrived, and let them show you the path. Right. The other part that I want to ask is, you mentioned something earlier about garnishing your application. So I want to ask about how can people that want to maybe write papers. Some people now, they are watching this video, listening to this podcast, and they already have volunteering experience. They already have all of this, but when they write their CV, the gap they see there is no papers, no conferences, nothing. And when you're looking for academic opportunities, the professors also want to see academic output, right? So they want to see that you've gone to conferences, you have abstract you've published, or book chapters. They want to see all these things. So how can people go around this? Because I know it's an area that you've been in for a while now. So how can they go about this thing? Yeah.
Yes, that is an important question, especially if you're applying for a research-based program. You want to show that you have some knowledge or research experience, one of which could be publication or conferences. Now, I would share from my own personal experience was when I finished my first degree then in FUTA, through the advice of a mentor, just said, oh, Ademola, you've done an interesting project, consider publishing it. So I sent a text to my supervisor then that I would like to publish my findings. And then he asked me to see him in his office. He said he was quite impressed that I could say something like that. And yeah, he gave me a guideline. He said, start drafting it this way. Of course, my first draft then wasn't good. It was not. So you can start from anywhere. So when he read my first draft, he corrected it, suggested ways to improve it. And given that I had put myself forward to him that I wanted to publish, the following week he just reached out to me to say, you know what, there is a conference in, I think that was in Ado Ekiti then. It was National Society of Microbiology.
Wow.
Because I studied microbiology, and he said he was part of the organizing committee. And he said, you know what, Ademola's put in an abstract for this, for an oral presentation, which I did, yes. So during my NYSC, I had to travel for the conference to give a talk. And as well, my manuscript was already published then.
Wow.
So I would say an important step is discussing with your supervisor about your interest. And sometimes the supervisor is even interested in publishing the work because you've done an excellent job. So discuss with them. In terms of looking for conferences, start within the school. Your faculty could be having like a symposium. They do it in most of these universities. Nigerian universities, African universities, they do symposium. Discuss with the dean that is planning it or the local organizing committee that you would want to share something in 10 minutes. You would want to share some aspects of your findings in 10 minutes.
Wow.
Oh, I hear this kind of things. I have phobia for addressing audience. I can't speak. Just go out there and start somewhere. Start somewhere. Yes. So put yourself out there. And with that, you would be able to get a publication or a conference presentation. Another thing that could help is doing an internship. If after your degree you were able to do an internship in an institute, try to look for an active research project and participate in it, in an active research project. So if you're able to do that, there would be interest to publish something there, and there will be interest to make a group presentation in the institute or across the institute. So some of these things which we don't really pay much attention to, or we just trivialize, they're actually very important. So all these things count.
Yeah, I just want to add to that, because those are very important steps. Because number one, talk to your your supervisor in school that you would love to publish your work. So that means before you tell your supervisor, you should have a mindset already that this work I want to do it well.
Yes.
Because the reason why many people don't get to publish their work is they don't do the work well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the advisor, the supervisor is already, he will just finish this your project and leave, right? And even you as a student, you already have that also at the back of your mind. But if you don't do the work well, it can't go anywhere. So you want to put in your best and ensure that anything you release out there can haunt you in the future. You know, we young people, we are very fast at doing things. Okay, I want to publish. You can now go and write nonsense with ChatGPT and put it online. But then 30 years down the line, you became a director of a big institute. Then someone now went back to 30 years ago and bring out your, the junk that you published, and then say that this is wrong. That's how strict academia is. You don't want to even put your name on something that can destroy you. So be very careful. Don't just join people that are publishing nonsense and put your name. Right. So the higher you go, and the higher you go in academia, the more you will see that the lesser the better. Right. But now that you want to step into the space, the more the better. But the more is you want to do it well. And the other thing is internship. At times, not every one of us will get internship. Right. And you might even get an internship in a place that you might not really help you that much. But one thing you can also do is work with your friends. You mentioned something earlier. When we were all looking for scholarships, what we did then, we had a consortium, a group of us that were all looking for scholarships, and then we're writing reviews. And then COVID came, a great opportunity to share insights based on this, the things we studied in school. And then we were able to write some papers, more like reviews. So review articles are like, you summarizing different papers and putting them together to make sense. And you've done this already in your undergrad. You've wrote seminar topics, you've wrote many things. So you've already learned that skill. It doesn't have to be perfect. And with today now we have AI tools, but that doesn't mean you use AI to write junks, please. But you can use AI to summarize papers, to read book papers, and then put them together and publish something with your friends, right? So, and you can then look for a mentor in the field or someone advanced in science to help you review, at least to see the logics, behind the paper, and also to ensure that everything you write is scientifically correct before you put it out there. So that's another way to publish. So I always encourage, if you're looking for a PhD, especially, try as much as possible to publish your undergrad and your master's work, and try to have at least maybe 3 to 4 publications. The reason for this is you want to show academic output. That also gives you, an edge. And if you finish with, let's say, 2-1, strong 2-1, and you're trying to compete maybe with first-class students for something like this Cambridge Trust, you want to be able to add more, right? You want to be able to show more for what you have. So yeah, that's very, very important. So I'll say the last question we have for today, because we've been having this conversation today around Cambridge Trust. And the interesting thing about the Next Level Discourse is some of these conversations are just going to be random, right? We never plan to talk about this scholarship today, but it's just the way it is. So what I want to ask is, what is the place of being resilient in winning a scholarship like this? Because I remember when we're both in Nigeria, I do come to your place to spend the weekends many times, and I saw, the pain, the challenge, all the stress you had to go through, applying at 4, maybe it did not work. How were you able to stay all through those periods? Yeah.
Yes, that was an important question. And I think the first thing is the kind of people around you.
Oh.
So just like you mentioned, then we were applying together, myself, you, Samuel. We had Sheon Adekoya then.
Yeah.
I had Victor then. I had Christopher Kolade then. Now, these names I've mentioned, we are in Canada, these guys are in US, I'm in UK. We were applying at the same time.
That's true.
People who had the mindset to win. It's very important. There's no other way to go about it. Once you are with the people who have the mindset to win, that's the first thing. Then the second thing is having a thick skin for rejection. Rejection will come. It's part of the journey. You can't. Yeah. No matter the effort you put in an application. Oh, I did this. I paid an application fee. Then I pay application fees. Then I paid the application fee of $85, $100, and
wow,
rejection will come. And it's you could liken it to receiving a breakfast from your partner. So rejections will come, and
it's painful.
Very painful. Have a thick skin towards rejection. Winning partners, people who are ready to win, who have that mindset, have a thick skin for rejection. Then the third thing I would say is always up your game, improve your profile. That would help you to be more resilient.
Yeah.
So let's say you applied for opportunities in 2025 and you didn't get any. Of course, you have to reapply in 2026. It would be a mistake to use the same profile you had in 2025 for another application in 2026.
That's true.
Attend more conferences, take more online coursework, write articles online, attend meetings, volunteer, learn bioinformatics online. You are now reapplying with an improved profile. That is also important for resilience. Then the final thing I would say is, do not accept no for an answer. In fact, even with the kind of, I remember when I wanted to apply to Cambridge then, I sent it to I had a colleague, to a friend who was we're applying together then, and I sent him, I said, I'm applying to Cambridge. I said, no, it's too hard, that don't do it. Let's try other ones. With all due respect, I just ignored him totally. I stopped talking to him about that application because words affect my mindset. So the way I protect my mindset is to kind of, I know he had valid reasons for what he said then, to be honest. The application was tough and extremely competitive, like very, very competitive. So he had that valid reason. But my mindset was that, did they take in students the previous year? Yes. African students, Nigerians, yes. Did Cambridge fund them? Yes. For an international program? Yes. Okay.
Wow. That's all you need.
As far as it's a human being they take, not aliens. So
then they can also take me too. Wow, I love that mindset.
So interestingly, that year I got rejected. My first application was rejected. I still did not tell him anything. That guy. Then when I reapplied and I got it, I just texted him. I said, I've gotten it. He said, wow, after 2 years. I said, yes. So, not taking no for an answer. The guy had already told me no. Cambridge told me no that year. So it was almost like Cambridge confirmed what the guy said.
What the guy said.
By sending the first rejection. But I wasn't taking no for an answer. I have the final answer.
Wow.
Not the school I was applying to, or not that guy. So in as much I'm telling myself that yes, it's possible.
That's it. So that's very profound. That's very profound right there. And you just have to, stand. You just have to stand. There's no big scholarship that people will not tell you that you can win it. When I wanted to apply for Vani, I can't count the number of people. Even I myself, I told myself no. But at some point, I was like, okay. Because you can also tell yourself no. So at that point when you're telling yourself no, the next thing you should do is, since I already know that I'm going to fail this, why not just apply then? At least let's see what will happen. Right? So it's just like people that do betting. You probably already know that this thing will not go. At least let me bet on myself. And most times when it happens, you win one way or the other. Everybody in life that says, okay, let me try anyway, they win anyways. They never die. Nobody, it will not kill you. The thing that the worst that will happen is they tell you no and you apply again.
Yes.
Right? So many people told me that, and one day I just felt, let me just put this thing in, and it came out positive. Right? Because we over criticize ourselves. There is something in us, in our brain, that the moment we want to do something that we don't naturally do, or want to aim big, you want to do something that will stretch us, we don't want to. It's a survival thing. You want to be in your comfort zone. You want to apply for applications that are below you. You want to apply for applications where they are looking for something that you have more than enough, so you can compete with people that are lesser than you. But that will not help you in life. Right? The only thing that will make people celebrate you and call like, wow, this guy won this thing, is you went way and beyond. You reach out to what is beyond you, and then you. I just want to add this last story, and then we wrap it up for today's discussion. I don't know if you remember. But if you come in fire.
Before you had that last story, I just wanted to add this to your story. I think it's an important one that our audience may also be concerned about. How do you deal with references in applications, in your application? So you could just add that.
Oh, okay, I will add that.
Yes.
So the first story I will add is, I don't know if you remember, in 2019 you reached out to me, or 2020, that we should go for a program in Anchor University. Yes. I can't forget that experience.
Yes.
I was a copper in Lagos collecting, then if not, it was 18,000 naira, about $18. But then maybe like $40 or $50. I don't know what the exchange rate was then. And anytime that money, once I received the money, is already done. Like, I was in Lagos, all right, you have to spend and everything. So he just called me and said, oh, Sam, let's go for this training. And this is impossible, because when will I have money? Then they ask us to pay 10,000 naira for this training. So that means I have to sacrifice my allowance for that month. But then at some point I was like, okay, because you kept on encouraging me, then okay, let's go for it. So I paid the 10,000 naira for my allowance, and then we went for that training, a 3 days training. I know if you still remember, we're going the place was very far. We'll take bus and everything just to have this training. And when we're done, we're given a certificate. It was on how to use Assemble software.
Yes.
Not knowing that the professor I'm currently with now, wrapping up my PhD with, is actually looking for a student with that experience.
Wow.
So I've submitted my application twice to this professor. But then the moment I sent him my CV with that certificate, that's how the door opened. And that's how I got my scholarship. Just to add to the fact that you have to pay some sacrifices.
Yes.
Some people just want to get all these things for free. right? You want someone to pay for your application fee. You want someone to be the one to write your essay for you. You want someone to, you can't win anything that way. You have to be ready to pay sacrifice. So, and also on getting references, getting references need to start with you having a plan. That's the mistake many people make. You want to apply for something next week, you now say, you reach out to me on LinkedIn. Hello, Sam. If I don't even know you, please can you write reference for me from where? It's impossible. I have to know you to write reference, because once I write a reference for you, that means I'm more like telling the person that is reviewing your application that I'm vouch for this person. And if I don't know you, how can I vouch for you? Because my own life too is on the line. If you do anything wrong, they will say you are the one that referred him. And we've had situations like that. So the first thing is you have to have a plan. And based on your plan, if let's say you want to apply for this application cycle now, let's say you want to apply for Commonwealth, you want to apply to like 10 schools. You know all these schools will require 2 references. And you can't say you have just one professor that want to write 20 reference letters for you. It's impossible. They are busy. So you need to have like 4, 5 or 6 of these people. And you're talking of professors in Nigeria that are very, I'm sure you know what I mean. These are people that, you know, there's this natural pride, right? They are busy. They have a lot. They are going through some of them. You know, their mental health things there. They are, you know, stressed there. You can't just, you know, send a message to them and say, okay, come and write a reference letter for me tomorrow. No, you have to build relationship. So for my own, right from when I was in 500 level, before I even graduate from school, I already met many of them. Hello, sir. Please, I'm going to be applying for scholarships once I'm done. I would appreciate if you're going to be my reference. Some of them, I bought wine. Wine. Some of them, not that I want to bribe them, but just to build relationship. Right? I bought wine. Some of them, you have to go to their office and greet them, build relationship with them, let them know you. So I probably had a list of maybe 10 or 12 professors by the time I finished school. Even one of the biggest professors in biochemistry in Futa was one of them, and he was the one that wrote my reference letter to get into Canada. Right? This is someone that probably I can say I don't think students can just even approach him. And how did I get him? I just spoke with one of the young lecturers then and professor that, I would love to meet with this person, and she took me to him. And said, I saw this boy is a very, you know, smart boy in the school. He wants to apply for school. Would you love to be his reference? And that's how the man, you know, okay, no problem. Anything. He gave me his personal email and phone number. I just sent him a message, right? And he never told me to write for myself. He wrote all the reference for me, right? And many of these professors, there are even some that we ask me to sit down and then they will write it and ask me how does it look, is it something that's nice? All of this comes from relationship. So for you to win opportunities this year, it starts from you having a plan yourself. And in that plan, you have your own role to play. We already mentioned sacrifice, you know, being resilient, all these things. Then others have roles to play. You can't win opportunities alone. It's impossible. Those roles, others that you need include your friends, people that will encourage you. Number 2 is people that will write references for you. People that can review your essay. Not everybody can review your essay. Someone that you should be reviewing essay for is reviewing your own essay. That can't work. You need someone that understands, can read, you know how English works, and you know can even see beyond you. Because at times we limit us. I see some essays, and to be sincere, we are very, you know, you are trying to be humble. Instead of you showing who you are, I just did this thing. They won't pick you that way. You want to. It's not like you're blowing your noise, but you want to let them know that you deserve this application. So you need people that can see you for who you are, and not people that will, you know, read your essay and tell you to, okay, no, you shouldn't put all these things. Just write something small. You won't win like that. You're competing globally, and the people you're competing with, they are not thinking that way. They are thinking, you know, in a different way. And this is not the era of you saying that, oh, you went to go and fetch water in the bush, you suffered, there's nobody to take care of you. All those things, I don't know where my mentality came from then when people were applying, right? If you write that one now, nobody will pick you. Right? They want to see you for who you are and then put in your best. So yeah, I think we've said a lot today. We can maybe bring it to an end. I don't know, bro, if you have any additional thing to add.
Um, uh, we've said a lot, and thank you very much, Sam, for those wonderful and insightful questions and for the contributions as well. I think it's been a very engaging conversation. Final thing I would say is that this is just one out of many that we will do. We've talked about scholarships today. The next one could be about grants application. The next one could be about fellowships for candidates who are just finishing their PhD and looking to get one or two grants to start their own lab, not even as a postdoc. Do you know, as a PhD student, a final PhD student, you can apply for fellowships, win a fellowship, and start a lab in an institution. So we'll be looking into some of these things in the next episodes.
Well, great. And we're also going to be inviting people. Actually, this I don't know, our next episode is possible that one or two people will be here joining us, and we're just going to be asking them questions, and we are going to be bringing top people. So we want you to follow this platform. We want you to win. We are doing this for you and also for us. As we're also learning, and we want to ensure that we all win together. Please, if you have any question, just drop them in the comment. As we've said at the beginning of this video, please subscribe. I want you to like, want you to share this video. Cambridge Trust is possible. My brother here won it. Vanier, which has been discontinued in Canada, has been cancelled. We now have CIHR, right? It's possible. We have friends. I have friends that have, that are winning them. So you can win too. Don't limit yourself. Go out for it. And again, welcome to the Next Level Discourse. As you can see, it's Next Level Conversations. Yeah. Take care.